The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
Santa Claus.
The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap.
Dad, it still works.
There's no better gift than the sound of your voice.
Get your teeth shined up, grab a stick of juicy fruit. The taste is gonna move ya. Take a sniff, pull it out. The taste is gonna move ya when you pop it in your mouth. Juicy fruit is gonna move ya. It juices soft, it gets right to ya. Juicy fruit, the taste is gonna move ya.
Thank you, Aunt Martha. No, not believable. Try. Thanks. Joel, pretend she just gave you a sundae. But she gives me stuff like this. Try again.
Hey kids, look who's here.
Thank you, Aunt Martha.
You're welcome.
This Christmas, give something kids love. McDonald's gift certificates, just 50 cents each or 10 for $5.
It is a sundae.
It's a good time for the great taste. Joel, say thank you. Oh, McDonald's.
I forgot.
Happy holidays.
Football, baseball, and rock and roll this week on Friday Night Videos.
Hi, I'm Bill Shatner. Join me this week on Saturday Night Live with the musical group Lone Justice.
Monday, Loretta Young stars in a touching Christmas story as a mother struggling to bring her family together for the holidays. In Christmas Eve, Monday.
Pour it on Quaker fruit and cream. Stir it up, Quaker fruit and cream. What a taste, what a dream. The cream of the crop, Quaker fruit and cream.
Quaker introduces fruit and cream instant oatmeals, bananas and cream, blueberries and cream, peaches and cream, and strawberries and cream. For rich, smooth tastes you won't find in any other cereal.
The cream of the crop, Quaker fruit and cream. Instant oatmeal, Quaker fruit and cream.
Ooh, something for Santa.
Look what I brought you, Santa. Holiday chocolate.
Oh, they're red and green.
Mom brought them home for the family. I saved that for you.
Holidays chocolates. Delicious milk chocolate in red and green shells.
Now about my list.
There's nothing like holidays for your holidays from the makers of M&M's.
More?
Friday, a holiday tradition for 21 years.
I've killed it.
It's time once again for America's favorite Charlie Brown adventure. It's an Emmy award-winning special. It's a Charlie Brown Christmas. Then he's back, the original cool guy. And this time he's gonna melt your heart. So chill out with Frosty the Snowman. Share the holiday spirit Friday on CBS.
Hi there, it's me, Snuggle Fabric Softener. Clothes feel so soft, smell kind of fresh when you use me.
Snuggle Fabric Softener. Snuggly softness that's really less expensive.
Ho, ho, ho! I've got a present for you. See, a Snuggle ornament for the tree. It's free when you buy Snuggle Fabric Softener.
Look for your free ornament at the Snuggle display in your store.
Have a happy holiday. My nose does when it smells toast cookies baking. When it says to my mouth, eat one, eat one. What's your mouth say? It says, that's so yummy. Must be a snazzy toast morsel. There were things in my face. Nothing nasty. But then my tummy said, thank you very much for the delicious Nestle Toll House cookie. Really?
Nestle Toll House chocolate chip cookies. Everything should be this good.
The CBS.
Ever since Taco Bell got these Rainbow Bright Sprites, we've had nothing but chaos. They couldn't just sit here and be cute. No, they had to sneak out and try the food. Now they're into the nachos, the taco salads. Nothing is safe. So why not get one driving up your place? They're just $1.99 with each $2 meal at Taco Bell. But hurry, huh? I can't hold these price down forever.
Rainbow Bright Sprites only at Taco Bell. Pick up a kid's meal and get a special prize. Collect all 3 now at Taco Bell.
Merry Christmas, Sarah.
For a limited time, near to where you buy 7-Up, you'll find a very special Countdown to Christmas poster. And it's yours free just for buying 7-Up and Diet 7-Up. What a great way to share in the feeling of Christmas. It's the perfect time to stock up on 7-Up's clear, crisp, clean refreshment. And kids get to build Santa's beard as they count off the days to Christmas. Get your free Countdown to Christmas poster when you buy 7-Up. 7-Up is the feeling of Christmas.
These lonely pound puppies need someone to love. Someone who'd love a little puppy love.
For you, Grandma.
Pound puppies are as cuddly as real puppies.
He'll keep you company in the dorm.
There's a perfect way to say I love you. For birthdays, holidays, or any day. Pound puppies, so soft and adorably lonely. Sometimes the hardest thing about giving them.
Merry Christmas.
Is giving them up.
Pound puppy, you're my one and only puppy love.
The Great Basketball Playoff starring Ronald McDonald.
And my chicken McNuggets.
And Ronald makes the first basket. Now the McNuggets make a basket. The score's all tied up and the crowd's going wild. Ronald moves in for a dunk.
Barbecue sauce, McDonald's barbecue sauce here.
And the McNuggets go for a dunk.
And you didn't even dribble.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Season's greetings in our souls.
Yummy fruity pebbles in our bowls. Oh, here comes you know who.
Yabba dabba fruit, delicious stew. Ho, 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 I'm hungry. Santa, my pebbles. Your pebbles. 'Tis the season to be sharing, Fred.
Happy holidays, pal.
Oh, Fred. Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles cereals, part of this nutritious breakfast. Ho, 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 ho.
Is CBS.
What a time to remember and believe. What a time to remember and believe. That it's better to give than receive. Make it a warm Christmas with turtlenecks for the family from Target. Men's size is $6.99. Women's size is only $5.99. Boys and girls sizes also on sale. It's Christmas at Target.
Hey kids, it's free. It's your brand new Christmas sticker book. Just look at all the fun you can have during Christmas with your free stickers, dot to dot, and lots of things to color. And just look at those stickers. It's neat, it's fun, and it's free. Just give Santa a visit at the mall that has everything else you want for Christmas. Now, listen close.
Different stickers are now available each week at Capital Mall food merchants. Get your sticker book and collect all your stickers from Capital Mall.
Happy holidays.
The night before Christmas, an Oreo cookie's waiting for a special guest.
I'll just take a little rest.
Ho, 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 who's that kid with the Oreo cookies? Eating all the luscious chocolate, licking all the creamy middles, dunking all the crunchy cookies like he did when he was little. It's so hard to hide the kid inside with Christmas and O-R-E-O. This goes.
Woo! Welcome, everyone. I'm glad to see everybody. Happy holidays. 'Tis the season. Man, I always get excited for Christmas. I don't even know why. I just do. I guess it's the nostalgia. You know, I dig it. And so, yeah, man, I'm sorry that I took so long to start. I do apologize for that. You know, stealing dogs, man, it's time consuming. I was just out just robbing neighbors of their dogs, dude. That's what I do, in case y'all haven't heard. So yeah, it's a busy business, people. So but yeah, Clubber is in the other room right now. Uh he's not going to be joining us this evening, not this time. Because I really want to be able to focus on this and without interruptions and falling over Christmas trees and things of that nature. So yeah. Yes, I have the dog hidden under my hat, right? But yeah, man. So seems Court TV is I haven't watched these yet. I like to do these. I like to watch these things with you guys. If you guys hadn't noticed, I have explained this before. I do enjoy doing reactions and kind of being on the same page with those who have not seen the things that I'm going to go over. Now, there is the slight chance, because it is Court TV, and Court TV does tend to copyright strike people. So there's a chance that, you know, the stream will end abruptly. If it does happen, I apologize, but I want to see what Court TV has to say all of a sudden about the John O'Keefe Karen Reed case. And they have in the last 24 hours have released 2 videos here. And we're going to go over both of them, hopefully, without interruption. Agreed, Jerry, agreed. So, because the stuff that they're talking about is news. So, I don't see how it's not fair use, but, they might snipe the stream. So anyway, folks, I do love you very much, and I am looking forward to getting this started. So let's do that. Oh, but hold on. Just a second. Just a second.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Grandmaster Sid Sophos, thank you so much, buddy. Elvis Presley, 8th degree black belt, American Kempo, will stop clubber. Yeah. Y'all got any fried chicken? Y'all give me some fried chicken for a karate shop here. Thank you very much. All right. We are going to get this started. Here we go. Thank you, Grandmaster Sid Sophos. I appreciate it, buddy.
We are learning new developments out of Massachusetts in the Karen Reed case.
New developments.
The Boston Globe is reporting that the district attorney is saying he is mystified by the FBI's involvement, saying they don't have jurisdiction over a state murder trial. Reed, as you may know, is the woman accused of killing her cop boyfriend.
They don't. Okay. See, already, whoever, now, this isn't Court TV's fault. They're saying to what? The Boston Globe? Who do they say? Let's do that again.
It's in the Karen Reed case. The Boston Globe is reporting that the district attorney is saying he is...
The district attorney is saying, okay, Morrissey, douche, pass the clear gravy. What? No, I saw you reels. Yes, I'm a big fan of old SNL, and I do remember Clear Gravy as a parody of Clear Pepsi. Very funny stuff. But you know, Morrissey's he doesn't want you to pass the clear gravy. No, he wants that good, voluptuous, fatty stuff. That stuff that's just gonna stick to his ribs. Y'all know what I mean? You know, Morrissey loves the thick gravy. Morrissey is an idiot because Morrissey, A, can't keep up with his own lies, and B, doesn't seem to understand, at least according to this, that the feds are not looking into the Karen Reed case. The feds are looking into the investigation of the Karen Reed case, which they perfectly have every justifiability to do. So Morrissey could suck it.
Mystified by the FBI's involvement, saying they don't have jurisdiction over a state murder trial.
Mystified.
Reed, as you may know, is the woman accused of killing her cop boyfriend and then allegedly leaving him in the snow to die. But her defense claims that law enforcement officials are protecting the real killers, prompting an interest in the case by the FBI. Before we break this all down with my guest, Marie Pereira, let's take a look at the case against Karen Reed.
John O'Keefe was a good cop, and he was a good man. That's why my client was with him.
Karen Reed is accused of causing the death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, after a night of heavy drinking. Prosecutors claim Reed backed her car into O'Keefe during a snowstorm and left him to die. But Reed's defense says the Commonwealth has it all wrong.
With each new piece of evidence that comes in, we're more and more convinced of my client's innocence.
O'Keefe's snow-covered body was found outside the home of another officer in Canton, Massachusetts. According to the prosecution's statement of the case, the couple was invited to the house after the bars in downtown Canton closed. Witnesses told investigators they last saw the couple at the Waterfall Bar and Grill. Others said they saw a black SUV resembling.
And I do appreciate the recaps, because they're always good for the new people here. So
Reeds parked outside the house, but never saw O'Keefe come inside. Reed told investigators that she dropped him off at the after party and never heard from him again.
She went home to take care of the kids, and then she called him 49 times. Where are you? Why aren't you back? She was
to take care of his kids who he took on because they were his sister's kids, who tragically died along with her husband. And I believe that's the case. I can't remember exactly what that detail is, but I know that John O'Keefe has taken on those kids as his own. He had taken on those kids as his own, and Karen Reed was on board. Now, there were rumors supposedly about Karen Reed not being happy in the relationship because of the kids and so on and so forth. I don't know anything about that. I don't have any proof of that. And the only people that I've heard that from are the people who have given very inconsistent statements to the Massachusetts State Police in the John O'Keefe investigation. So I just basically don't believe anything those fucking people say, because they're looking more sus as every day goes on.
Was the one to go back to that residence to look for him. She was the one to find him. She was the one to try and keep him warm and give him CPR and try and revive him.
But Norfolk
Thank you,
County
Leandra.
prosecutors question those actions. They claim voicemails and text messages detail strains in the relationship and the victim's desire to end their relationship, including a voicemail from the night he died in which Reed allegedly told O'Keefe that she hated him. Also, O'Keefe's niece and nephew who lived with him allegedly told police that the couple fought constantly about the relationship and breaking.
Now, in Karen Reed's defense, okay, I don't have enough fingers or toes to tell you how many times a woman told me that she hated me. I don't, if I'm being totally honest, but I'm still here by the grace of God. Knock on wood, whatever you want to believe in. Just saying, does not make somebody a murderer.
Breaking up before his death. Prosecutors point to a broken taillight on Reed's SUV, pieces of which were allegedly found near O'Keefe's body, to suggest she ran her car into him. A forensic pathologist opined that significant blunt force trauma injuries occurred prior to Mr. O'Keefe becoming hypothermic. Cuts and bruises were found on O'Keefe's head and arm.
Somebody being hit by a car, I would submit, does not look like they had been punched out by Mike Tyson. And the victim here looked like he had been punched out by Mike Tyson.
Reed's lawyer, David Yannetti, says his client is not responsible for O'Keefe's injuries.
I believe that the evidence shows that she didn't hit him. I've said in the past that his injuries are not consistent with being hit by a vehicle. And by the way, the Lexus taillight breaking, coming in contact with a human being and not a hard surface, makes no sense to me. I think it's going to make no sense to a jury.
If not Reed, who? Her lawyer says that there's a lot they still don't know.
This is a case where the homeowner being a...
Becky's making a good point in chat. I mean, she's texting him like saying, you know, we're leaving voicemails. I fucking hate you. Like, he went to a party. She went to go take care of the kids that he's responsible for. She's mad about this. She does. The last thing she's thinking is that he's dead. You know, the first thing that she's thinking, well, maybe not the first thing, but what's going to run through a woman's mind when she's been drinking, and naturally, and I'm not speaking for Karen Reed because I don't know the case, but I'm saying it's not abnormal for her to be upset, and it wouldn't be, and I wouldn't blame her for her mind wandering under the influence of alcohol if there's a female involved who he's been having play dates with his kids and her kids with, that female being Jen McCabe. They're buddies, and she's the one that he's in contact with all night, and who knows what their conversations were in the car. I am tired. I don't feel like going. Yeah, but these are my friends. I want to hang out with them. Yeah, well, if you want to go hang out with them, you can, which deep down really means no, I don't want you to go hang out with him. If you go and hang out with him, I'm going to be pissed at you for the next 3 or 4 days, and you're going to have to pay with my attitude. That's just how this is going to be. And that's probably what went down, considering that this is a woman that she probably felt threatened by in some way, shape, or form, which is perfectly natural and perfectly understandable. Again, is not necessarily a motive for murder. It can be, but no. I mean, I don't see why she would bother if she had hit him with the car and ran him over, especially intentionally. Then why would she bother leaving these voicemails? That makes no sense. Especially an intelligent person such as Karen Reed. It doesn't make sense.
Being a Boston police officer was treated differently than he would have been if he were you or me.
A lot to talk about. Thankfully, Marie Pereira is still with me. All right, first of all, the public attention on this case, because it seems like you have two sides adamant. Number one, that Karen Reed killed her boyfriend, no question about it. And number two, no, she didn't. It's a cover up. And a lot of the cops at the party did it. What are your thoughts?
See, I disagree with that. I don't like when people who are established in the media overlook certain things. There are not only those two choices. The third choice is that Karen Reed is guilty, and yet the police didn't cover it up. They just handled the case so irresponsibly and so carelessly that it's going to ultimately cost John O'Keefe justice. Now, that's not necessarily what I believe, but we would be irresponsible if we didn't acknowledge this one particular fact. That third choice is absolutely another factor. That third scenario is absolutely another factor. And yes, they could probably be covering up their mishandling of the investigation. It could be that they're just covering up their mishandling of the investigation. But the fact of the matter is the Canton Police Department, well, at least the Massachusetts State Police Department is absolutely covering up, or at least the prosecution, Morrissey, the DA's office, is absolutely in cahoots with the Massachusetts State Police Department in covering up their mistakes and trying to sweep their mistakes under the rug. So whether we have negligence or whether we have corruption, well, I'm going to say that we have both, because if you're covering up simply handling a mistake in a negligent way, well, then you have both. You have both, because it takes corruption in order to cover up negligence. That is corruption, plain and simple. So this is exactly why the FBI are looking into Canton and the Massachusetts State Police.
I think her attorneys are doing an excellent job at defending her even before the trial begins, because there's certainly public support. And on top of it, they really do have evidence that would prove that.
Real quick, I gotta give it to the public support, y'all. I gotta give it to them. Yeah. All you locals in here, I see you.
That she didn't do it. All I could remember is a photograph of the victim's arm with what looks like claw marks, like dog.
From the dog.
Right. And then all of a sudden the dog is not available. Everything else I'm saying maybe, but then when I think about that photograph, how would he get that?
Right.
Yeah. Not from a motor vehicle striking him.
There
so I
you
think
go.
they're doing a great job.
I do too, and the 49 phone calls. I think that's significant, because I think if the person who did it called, it wouldn't be 49 times. To me, that's desperation. Where is he? 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 What happened? What happened? What happened? And so I think that works in her favor too, potentially. Now, the other part of this is, you know, the district attorney did state that he has offered to speak with the FBI, to speak with the U.S. attorney about this case because of the inquiry that they're doing. And according to him, they have not taken him up on that offer. Talk to us a little bit about inside baseball when it comes to law enforcement and different parties and political parties. And what do you think of this? Maybe they have talked, maybe they haven't.
Well, the state police wants to show, listen, we know what we're doing. We don't need you butting into our affairs, especially the FBI or any other source of jurisdiction. This was our police officer, our citizen in our state. So what makes you think that we're a bunch of Barney Fipes and we need?
Yeah, no, that's not what's going on here. That's not what's going on here at all, because Turtle Boy's charges prove this. Okay, Turtle Boy's charges in the Canton 9 prove this. Let me elaborate. So the reason why this isn't just a case of, hey, we're perfectly capable as a local police department to handle our own shit in our own state, in our own city, in our own county. We can totally do this. We don't need the FBI butting in. Now, that's the thing is and then what they're saying is, well, you know, it's constitutionally bad. We have the right to handle things internally without the feds butting in, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you're all about the Constitution, right? Okay, then what about Turtle Boy's constitutional rights? What about the Canton Nine's constitutional rights? See, you don't get to cherry pick when it's convenient to be constitutional, Morrissey. That you don't get to cherry pick that stuff. Okay? Like, if you're going to be constitutional, be constitutional. Don't sit here and whine and bitch about the feds looking into you, because don't sit here and try to act like they're looking into the Karen Reed case, because they're not. Of course, they're going to look into the Karen Reed case in order to find inconsistencies in your investigation. But that is the focus. Make no mistake about that, Pastor Gravy. Make no mistake about that. The focus is you and how you handled the investigation in question. That's it. They're not trying to butt in and take over your investigation. They're trying to make sure that you and everybody that works under you is doing everything they can lawfully to get John O'Keefe, a police officer, a Boston police officer, justice. That is what the people of Canton are demanding happen. So, no. Don't sit here with this bullshit about, oh, well, the feds can't come in and butt in. Well, they're not. They're coming in and sniffing around at you.
Need you coming in. So there's always a testosterone thing going on, but I would ask them to be careful, because if all of these accusations are being made and other people want to help you, why don't you accept the help and be extremely transparent with defense? Give them whatever they want. If you have nothing to hide, then give them what they want to dispel the rumors and put them to rest before this thing goes to trial, because it's going to follow you with the jurors who are going to be from that venue. Watch out.
Watch out. And optics are everything. I agree with you. The defense is doing a good job raising all of these issues. There are a lot of supporters for Karen Reed that have been very vocal, very public. But I think at the end of the day, no matter what, I don't think I would expect any district attorney's office to say, you're right, we're wrong, we're dismissing the charges. Do you think that's a possibility, or do you expect this is going to go forward against Karen Reed?
I think at this point, they're not going to be dismissing in the interest of justice. They're going to go forward, and then they are going to have to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, especially because it was a law enforcement officer. They're not just going to say, we'll call it a day. They're not going to do that, because it would be saying we were wrong from the beginning.
I agree with you. And I want to share now, before we go, today's thought from the bench. My opinion as a former judge, and I must share this with you, is listen, generally the FBI does not just step in when they don't have jurisdiction. And in fact, they do have jurisdiction for some special investigations, which can include, as I understand it,
let them know
if there's a felony murder rather, against a law enforcement officer of a state. And so maybe that's the grounds under which they're stepping in, but you better be careful. And I agree from the bench, give them everything, cooperate fully. There's nothing to lose. At the end of the day, it's justice that all should be seeking. All right, coming up next, we look ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I like that, Judge, right there. I mean, that's what we've been saying. That's all we've been saying. I mean, if you got nothing to hide, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Why were you so against an audit? If you're doing your job, if you're a company who has, if you're a company like this works everywhere. If you're a company that has a policy in place where you are subject to internal audits for the sake of product quality improvement, product quality maintenance, if that is what that exists for, then you should encourage these audits because you are going to produce positive results. This is to ensure that you constantly produce positive results. Or you're trying to hide something. You're cutting corners. You're cheating people out of quality. That's what you would be afraid of. Other than that, there's nothing that you should be afraid of. Now this is going to be a little bit longer. But let's get into it, folks. Let's get into it.
Karen Reed and her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, were bar hopping on a snowy night in Massachusetts. At the end of the night, they were invited to a house party at the home of a fellow officer in Canton, Massachusetts. When Karen and John arrived, Karen did not exit the car. John did. From that point forward, there are two very different versions of what happened. Prosecutors say Karen was mad at John and purposely struck him with her car and left him on the ground to die in the snow. But Karen and her defense team say John went to the party. Something terrible happened inside the house, and his body was placed outside, where he was found dead the next morning. Karen has been charged with murder, but claims she is the victim of a big cover-up by police. The battle inside the courtroom and outside the courthouse has been intense. Prosecutors insisting Karen Reed is a murderer, while she insists it was someone inside the house that night who is responsible for what happened to her boyfriend, John O'Keefe. And now reports that the investigators are being investigated by the feds. Tonight, we get all the latest as we continue our investigation into the death of Officer John O'Keefe.
I mean, I got such a love-hate fucking relationship with channels like News Nation and fucking Court TV, dude. I'm not gonna lie, man, because because this dude who's gonna be running this thing, like he's so lukewarm, dude. Sometimes, man, it really bugs me. You know, like 1 minute he's gonna have Turtle Boy on his channel, and just because Turtle Boy calls somebody a moron, he's like, oh, let's watch the insults and blah 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 blah. You know, and like he's just gonna go with the tone of what he thinks the narrative is going. And you know, when the narrative was, oh well, it's a big conspiracy theory, and all these people are conspiracy theorists that think that Karen Reed is innocent, and blah 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 blah. When all those idiots are squawking, well, you know, these major news networks and these tabloid news networks are just going to jump all over the narrative that they think is going to appease the masses. And it's like, just do some research, man. You know, like speak your mind. Like, I'd love to see somebody on Court TV that's just like, listen, man, I know what I'm supposed to say up here, but I can't read this and use my common sense and sit here and act like I'm not seeing something that's totally shady as fuck. You know what I mean? I'm dying to see something like that. Like, I'm dying to see somebody with balls like this. Like, Brian Enton was like the closest thing to that when he called out Zav Girl for sharing Gannon's autopsy photos, for sharing an 11-year-old boy who was murdered, his autopsy photos. She called out this dude called out a YouTuber on Twitter and then blasted her on News Nation, which I thought was fucking gorgeous. I thought it was beautiful. But at the end of the day, these people are still going to go which way they think the ratings are going to bring them. And it's annoying, you know, like, how about you're going to get ratings for like having balls, bro? You know what I mean? What happened to like getting ratings for having balls and speaking up when you see something that sucks? What happened to that? Where's that? But like now this dude is now, he just recently had Turtle Boy on, and then, you know, Turtle Boy, there was a much different vibe from Court TV to Turtle Boy this time, because if you've got eyes, you are seeing that there is some fucking shit here that needs looking into. Yeah, Vinny is, yeah. I mean, I want to like the guy. I really do. I want to like the guy. And I know he's just doing his job. But it's like, man, come on, dude. Just go just one time, just go against the grain. That's what I'm always doing. Just use your eyes, bro. Speak up. It's all I'm asking you to do.
Excuse me. It's the weather, folks. I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us tonight here
It
on
happens to me too, dude.
Closing Arguments. This is a case unlike any case I've ever covered. What is happening up there in Dedham, Massachusetts at the courthouse, in Canton, Massachusetts, where all this happened, the protest, the support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer, it's unreal. And every time I do this story, I get all these direct messages and notes, some of them a little heated.
Gee, I wonder
from
why.
both sides
I
of this
wonder why.
controversy. No one is happy, and that tells me that this is different than most of the murder trials that we cover here, and that I've been covering for years.
You think?
And it all begins as a Boston police
Vinny.
officer, John O'Keefe. He's dead. He's dead. The question is, how did this happen? Who is responsible? And obviously, as you heard,
All right. Now you see what he's doing there. And I agree with this. I love this. Okay. But what I don't like is when Coffindaffer, who finally blocked me, by the way. So unfortunately, I won't be able to go over her most recent tweets. I can't view them. I don't have alt accounts. I'm not that guy who fucking opens alt accounts and starts trolling and doing that. I just don't do that shit. But now this is what Coffindaffer will pull. You know, she'll sit there and she'll spin this. She'll tweet this long tweet, shitting all over Turtle Boy and shitting all over anybody who speaks against the prosecution in this case. And then, and then she'll be like, but let's not forget what this is about, because you people are spinning drama. And then this is about a Boston police officer who lost his life. Yes, we know it's about a Boston police officer who lost his life, you idiot. We know that. And I'm not talking to Vinny here. I'm just using Coffindaffer for an example, and I'm hoping that he's not doing the same thing. But when it's used properly and not used to cover your own shit, because it's one thing to, let's remember John O'Keefe. Let's remember Officer John O'Keefe and remember what this is all about, that a Boston police officer lost his life. Absolutely. And that's what we should always keep in mind. But the fact is that when you sit there and use that to hide behind your bullshit, to use as a safe little, Linus blanket behind your bullshit, well, then it's shitty. And you're exploiting the memory of this man. That's what you're doing. You're exploiting the memory of this police officer. Because the fact is those people, every single person that I have seen, that I have spoken to, that I have seen in a chat, whether it be mine, whether it be Turtle Boys, whether it be the Young Jerks, whether it be Making Law Simple, in any of the number of channels that have been covering this case, any of those people, I've seen them talk about John O'Keefe and keep John O'Keefe in mind. Everyone who supports Karen Reed is in support of John O'Keefe and getting justice for him. So to paint that picture is an insult to that community, and making them out to be drama mongers and making them out to be conspiracy theorists who don't care about the fact that a police officer lost his life. That's exactly what this is about. That's exactly what this is about. And it has always been about this. And if it wasn't about this, I wouldn't put my 2 cents in. I wouldn't even be talking about this. If I thought that Turtle Boy or any of the people that are in support of Turtle Boy and in support of Karen Reed, if I thought that they didn't respect the memory of John O'Keefe, I wouldn't even touch this. Anybody who knows me and knows my channel and has followed me for a long time knows this about me. So don't sit there and you know, and I'm not saying Vinny's doing this right now. It's just what he did right now is probably in the right light. And I'm not calling him out. I'm saying I've seen Coffindaffer do it a million times on Twitter, and it's annoying as shit because it minimizes these people, these locals in Massachusetts that simply want justice done. And they want it done correctly. They want it done the right way. They want to know that where they live, they could count on law enforcement to do their jobs correctly, because John O'Keefe could be anybody in their family, anybody that they love. Karen Reed could be anybody in their family and anybody that they love. They see this. They know it. And that's why they are so up in arms about this.
There are two completely different stories, versions, narratives of what happened the night that John O'Keefe was killed and then found dead in the snow. On the one hand, you have prosecutors saying that this was a crime of passion. These were two lovers who had an argument, and she was angry and she struck him with her car and left him there in the cold to die in the snow. That it was about a relationship gone bad, and a woman who was angry, and that's why she did it. That's one version. That's what the prosecution has said. A lot of times you don't get another version, especially before a trial, but in this case you have.
True.
And the defense and Karen Reed are saying, no, it wasn't me. It was someone inside the house, and this was a police cover-up. It was a police party, and it was a investigation that was done by people connected to people in the house. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
And it's a huge cover-up, and she's being framed.
It's a major problem, dude.
So there's a lot to get to every time we do this story. There's a lot of layers. There's a lot of evidence. But now there's a new report. Boston 25, one of the local stations up there, has been doing amazing work on this. Real big reveal that caught my attention, is catching a lot of people's attention. Take a look. 25 Investigates has learned that the Norfolk County District Attorney, Michael Morrissey, sent a letter to the Department of Justice. Funny, those are the feds, folks, okay? So you've got the local prosecutor sending a letter to the feds requesting that the federal probe of the Karen Reed case be transferred out of Massachusetts. The feds up there are looking at this investigation. Morrissey's letter provides the first official confirmation that the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Massachusetts is looking into the arrest and prosecution of Reed. So in the middle of trying to prosecute someone for murder, the feds are looking at the people who investigated the case and investigated Karen Reed.
Hell yeah, they are. Fucking finally. Hell yeah, they are.
This is highly unusual.
You think?
But big news. Joining us tonight from Boston, Massachusetts, the investigative reporter at Boston 25 News, Ted Daniel, is with us. Ted, great to see you tonight. Unbelievable work and investigation you guys are doing. Before we get to all that, let me just take a step back. And
this right here, folks, I want everyone to take note for a second, because this right here is why it's so important for mainstream media to take on these cases, because this is an 18-minute segment done by Court TV, and it is because of the investigative journalism of Boston 25 News. The very story that I went over just the other day about the federal investigation into the district attorney's office. This is why it's important, because it snowballs. When mainstream media picks these things up, it snowballs. This is why it's so important. This is why it's important that Turtle Boy and his attorney, when they come down those stairs in the courthouse, every time he has a court date, that there are local news outlets standing there ready to interview him. And it's so important for him to say what he has to say each time. just to keep people interested, keep people talking, because it's going to be the people that makes a difference here. This is, make no mistake, people, this is absolutely an American people issue. This is an issue about the American people and the American people's rights. This is about Karen Reed's right to a fair trial and to justice. This is about John O'Keefe's right, most importantly, to justice. This is about his family and loved ones' right to justice. This is about Turtle Boy and every, not just him, but every journalist out there. This is about their First Amendment rights. This is about the Canton Nine's rights to freedom of assembly. All of these things are extremely important. This is a vital, vital case to be looking into for so many reasons. So many reasons. But most importantly, your American rights are on the line. Your rights as an American are on the line here, folks. It's important for all of us to speak up. It's important for all of us to look into this. We need to all take interest in this case for those reasons, not just because we follow true crime cases, because your rights are on the line. Your freedoms are on the line.
And your analysis of this story, this case, this trial, everything that's happening, I'm feeling down here in Atlanta that things are at a fevered temperature up there with everyone involved. What's your take?
Well, like you, I'm getting the same DMs and emails from people who are vested in this case. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've covered a lot of high-profile cases, including Aaron Hernandez, both of his trials, gavel to gavel. I've never seen anything as polarizing as this, where people are so absolutely dug in on each side. And that has led to just this firestorm that's existed since about April, when the defense came out swinging that they believe this is a cover-up.
So locally, how is this playing? Because now you guys have confirmed for the first time that there is, in fact, a federal investigation into the investigation of Karen Reed and the investigation of the death of John O'Keefe. Give us a little bit of the parameters of what this is about and what everyone is saying about that part of this case.
Yeah, we weren't the first ones to report the federal investigation. That had been out there, but we were the first ones to confirm it. And the way we did that was interesting. I got a tip that the Norfolk County District Attorney, who is the district attorney,
yeah, I saw somebody commented on his audio. Give him a break. He's doing this via Zoom. He's not a YouTuber. He doesn't have a mic. You know, he's just got the built-in mic of his laptop or whatever the fuck he's using. And look at his house, man. He's got a nice house. You know what I mean? It's got a lot of space. It's got a lot of space. You know, he's going to get those acoustics. Give him a break.
Canton is that he sent a letter to the Department of Justice essentially pushing back on this federal probe, that the Norfolk DA believes that there's a number of conflict of interests that the DOJ failed to recognize and that they're essentially targeting him. So we did a public records request for that letter. And
past the Gravy Morrissey is playing victim. People, that's always a red flag.
When I got the denial from the Norfolk County DA's office, they denied it, saying, hey, this is confidential information. We don't have to give it to you. That essentially confirmed for me that, yes, we do have this letter in existence. This letter is here.
So at this point, where does everything stand? Do we have any idea whether or not people have been interviewed? Have people given depositions? Have people been put in front of a grand jury? What level of investigation is this federal probe at? Do we have any idea?
We do. Our sources tell us that there is a federal grand jury. We know subpoenas went out, and it's been going on for a long time, that subpoenas, at least one round of them went out on April 10th. A number of people who the state has identified as witnesses, who are going to be witnesses for the prosecution. They've been called in to testify in front of this grand jury. And we know that the grand jury was hearing testimony over the summer. I'm aware of people who testified in July and August. But I have not been able to find or learn of anyone who's testified in front of that federal grand jury since August. And as you know, Vinny, these cases, the federal cases, they can take a really long time. But, you know, there's so much, I think, you know, thirst for information here that people are saying, hey, if the feds have something, if something really exists here that shouldn't, let's hear it. We want to know, because Karen Reed's going to be supposedly going to trial in March. I don't think it's actually going to happen then, but that's when she's on the calendar for.
Right. If the federal probe uncovers something, you would think that Karen Reed and her team would want to know what's going on there, because that would impact their case.
So March, yeah, that's good, because if I go to Boston, I'm not going to have to pack winter clothes. That's good to know.
Because their whole case is that there was something wrong with the investigation, and then it was some level of a cover-up.
Absolutely. It's hard to imagine that the feds would let the case go to trial if they have something, which we don't know if they do. If they have something, that the feds would let the case go to trial and play out that way, and then, you know, bring a resolution after that. Or if there's indictments, drop indictments after that. It just seems that there is.
Somebody is going to get indicted. That is my prediction. Okay, folks? Somebody's going to get indicted. Okay? There are way too many pissed off Massachusettsians. Way too many pissed off citizens of Massachusetts for there not to be some sort of indictment, even if it's just negligence. I mean, there's got to be. Somebody's got to be held accountable here. Somebody. Yeah, my money's on Proctor for sure. My money's absolutely on Proctor. And if for some reason, for political reasons or whatever, they don't want to like focus on people that are directly involved in the Karen Reed case that are high up in the Karen Reed case, like the lead investigator, but at least whoever the fuck put John O'Keefe's blood in that was in the snow in a fucking red Solo cup. Whoever was in charge of there not being a medical exam or for there not being a crime scene investigative unit there earlier on. I mean, there's just somebody at the very least for negligence in this case. This is a Boston police officer who lost his life, and there is a fucking circus when it comes to his investigation. And I'm not talking about the people talking about it. The people who are talking about it are outraged about the fucking circus. That's what they're pissed off about. It shouldn't be a circus. It should be a clear-cut investigation to get to the absolute truth, done with professionalism and there should be a very, very clean cut investigation, step by step, done by the book investigation done to get John O'Keefe justice. And the fact that this is not happening is what people are pissed off about. It's happening where they live. And they don't like it. Yeah, me too, Jerry. You gotta love this chat. You gotta love these people.
The timing of this is super important, and I wonder if the feds believe there is some pressure on them to wrap this up and reach a resolution.
And I want to get your take on what's happening at the courthouse, these huge displays. And I know I've had him on the show, Turtle Boy. I know there's a bunch of Turtle riders out there, his supporters, his listeners. But what's your take on this crowd? Is this his crowd? Is this people from the city of Canton who've gotten wind of what's going on? Like, what is really the genesis and the makeup of all these folks that are showing up at that historical courthouse?
Well, Turtle Boy's done a really good job of sort of galvanizing this large group of people. And I wouldn't say these are necessarily Canaanites. These are people from all over Massachusetts. And these are people who are incredibly passionate about their belief that this is a cover-up and that Karen Reed has been framed, and they're all over the state. You know, we cover a bunch of stories, but this is the story that people always come up and ask me, hey, what are your thoughts on this? What have you heard about this? There's something about this story that's just caught the attention of everyone here in Massachusetts, and I know that there's national interest in it too.
Oh, big time. Big time. So I want to take, since I have you here, I want to take advantage and go through some of the evidence in this case with you and get your take on this evidence and anything else that you know about it. Let's begin. I want to take a listen. This is Adam Lally, District Attorney, talking about the cocktail glass evidence, which I think is extremely important for the prosecution.
The damages. Now, before we get into that, I just dropped the link to Turtle Boy's Facebook group about this case. So if you're on Facebook and you don't belong to that group, go ahead and send a request to join that group, because I got to tell you, man, the stuff that I'm seeing in that group is so uplifting. Normally, I fucking hate Facebook groups. You people know this. I normally hate them, but I love this Facebook group because it's inspiring. The reason why is because it's inspiring. And I love that, I mean, you just see people just contributing all of their knowledge. Yeah, but Jadams, they're saying that it probably won't happen in March. That's kind of mostly what I was going by. But yeah, yeah, I know it gets cold up there in March still. But thank you. The stuff that I see in there, man, is incredibly inspiring. I mean, we're talking about people who went to the gas station, got change, and then, you know, they got a $10 bill that's got a free Karen Reed stamp on it, just so that it circulates, just so that word of mouth circulates. This is stuff that Turtle Boy, you know, he lit this flame. And this flame has turned into an inferno, man. And it's just a fire in the heart of Massachusetts. The heart of Massachusetts is absolutely on fire right now. And it's inspiring to see. It's inspiring to watch.
Is to the right rear corner panel of the defendant's vehicle. Embedded within the bumper to that vehicle is pieces of a cocktail glass. The victim, Mr. O'Keefe, is last observed on surveillance video, external surveillance video from the Waterfall establishment that he left just prior to going to 34 Fairview, with a cocktail glass in his right hand. Same arm that's injured, same type of glass that is then recovered from the bumper of the defendant's car.
So, Ted, what's your take on this significant?
Dude.
Boo, you suck.
That guy sucks. The guy absolutely sucks. Tomatoes in the chat for that dickhead.
Of this cocktail glass and the fragments that were allegedly found.
Yeah, the prosecution needs a way to explain what appear to be those puncture wounds on John O'Keefe's arm. And it appears that this might be a way that they're going to go about doing this, that John O'Keefe had this cocktail glass, and when he was hit and it broke and somehow shattered or somehow dragged his arm. You're looking at the picture right there. And, you know, normally when something like having a cocktail glass would be that important, but I think as we see this case, when it goes to trial, I think that's something you'll be hearing a lot about.
And I heard the DA also, in the argument there, Assistant DA talk about pieces of the glass in Reed's bumper. So the prosecution theory is that she backs into him and then the glass breaks, ends up in her bumper?
Yeah, bullshit. Real quick here, I gotta... Yeah, Cherry, listen, let me explain to you the tomatoes the significance of this crowd throwing tomatoes that are, you know, so 200 years ago. So is our liberation from you fucking limeys. And it all started in Massachusetts. It all started in Canton when Paul Revere ran through that town saying, the limeys are coming, the limeys are coming. So, boo, boo, tomatoes to the limeys. We love you, Cherry.
Yeah, I mean, if they really do have a piece of glass that they found on her bumper, I think that's important for the prosecution. How else did it get there, Vinny? I mean, I think that is something that I haven't heard a ton about, but it seems like a very logical path.
Except you, Grandmaster Sid Sophos. You are the limey exception, my friend. You are absolutely the limey exception, my friend. You know we love you.
The prosecution would want to go down.
Now, the other big thing is the tail light. Let's take a listen to the defense attorney, David Yannetti, talk about her broken tail light, which is another big issue in this case.
The taillight was intact when she left Brian Albert's house. She came home, and this was Karen leaving to begin the frantic search for John O'Keefe. Now, I don't know that you can see it from the video that you have there, but there is no doubt that when that SUV comes into contact with what is John O'Keefe's vehicle parked in the driveway, you can see that rear tire move forward. It rotates, and you also see the light shatter from the taillight being broken.
So I guess this is another issue in this case. Like, how does the taillight break? Does she smash it the morning after, or does she break it when she is running over and intentionally killing John O'Keefe? This will be significant as well.
I spoke to Karen Reed's parents. I did a sit-down interview with them a few months ago. And one of the questions that I asked her parents is, did Karen say she hit something? Does she remember hitting anything? And they said, yes. She said to her father, I thought I may have hit something. And their explanation is what you're looking at here, that Karen Reed backed into John O'Keefe's car that was parked in his driveway there, and they're saying, yeah, the taillight's broken because that's the way it happened here. The prosecution, if you look at their filing, they'll say that it appears that it may have touched the car, but it didn't really, move the car. We actually took a real close-up shot of that and spot shadowed it and slowed it down. And it does appear, as David said, that the tires do appear to move forward a little bit. Would that be enough to cause the taillight to break? I don't know. I'm not an expert on that. But I know that is certainly huge for the defense, this video right here.
Yeah, like what are the odds that you're...
Clearly. Now, one thing we also have to keep in mind, folks, before I continue this, the statement from Ryan Nagel. The statement from Ryan Nagel is key. I believe it's key. He was there to pick up his sister from this party, and his statement states that when he got there, he saw her car, he saw her SUV, Karen Reed's SUV. He said that her foot was on the brake, all of the rear lights were illuminated and intact, no visible damage to the car, right? Not to mention the fact that if Karen Reed, by that time, he also said that she was alone in the car, that the inside car light was illuminated, and he could clearly see inside the vehicle, and only Karen Reed was in the vehicle. Now, this is key, because if she was alone in the vehicle, that would mean that John O'Keefe was already dead. And if she broke her taillight by hitting him, then what happened? Why is her taillight? I mean, if she couldn't have been alone in the car and her taillight be intact if she hit him. There's just no way. So that tells me that he had to be inside the house. John O'Keefe had to absolutely be inside that house. There's no other way. If Ryan Nagel's testimony, if his statement is accurate, then there's no way that John O'Keefe was not inside that house. And this is a very, very important detail. Very important detail.
That you're accused of running someone over with the back of your car, and later that same morning or a few hours later, you back into a vehicle. It's going to be difficult for the jury to deal with that. Now the big thing, and I know this is what set off Turtle Boy when I spoke to him, which was this Jennifer McCabe Google. Jennifer McCabe, one of the women at the party that night. Let's take a listen to Alan.
Now, that's what Turtle Boy tends to focus on. But make no mistake, Vinny, that's just a drop in the bucket. That's a drop in the bucket of what sets Turtle Boy off about this case. So, yeah, don't minimize it to just being the Google search from Jennifer McCabe. That's just a drop in the bucket. Even though that's a big piece, it's still a drop in the bucket considering all of the other stuff that this dude has investigated and uncovered.
Alan Jackson described that piece of evidence.
Why is Jennifer McCabe one of the parties that was inside the house that night, the sister-in-law of Brian Albert? Why was she Google searching? How long does it take for a human body to die in the cold? The Apple Cocoa core data indicates, or the core time indicates exactly what time that Google search occurred. That time was at 2:27 and 40 seconds in the morning on January 29th. That's 3.5 hours before John O'Keefe's body was found.
I think for many people who believe that Karen Reed is framed here, this is the smoking gun, right? The allegation that there's a search about how long for someone to die in the cold at 2:27 in the morning before John O'Keefe is ever found.
Yeah, that's what the defense led with. I remember the first day that they announced this bombshell change in the case, that is the evidence that they said they had. If you talk to the prosecution, they will tell you that there was a tab that Jennifer McCabe had open, and she opened that tab, and the search was actually conducted in the morning. And what the prosecution is saying is the search was conducted at the request of Karen Reed. So, Karen Reed is the first one to see John O'Keefe's body on the lawn. She's with Jennifer McCabe. And according to Jennifer McCabe, Karen Reed frantically yells, "Search, how long it's snowing? How long does it take to die in the cold?" And Jennifer McCabe went ahead and searched that. I've dealt with Celebrite and some of the other cell phone analysis companies. I've shown them this evidence, and I'm like, tell me what you think. And nobody is willing to go on the record and say whether or not they think that search actually happened at 2:27 in the morning, or if that search happened later in the morning when there were other similar searches for how long to die with cold.
Okay, so right there, this correspondent for Boston 25 is straight up saying nobody will go on record about this. Everybody's so fucking confident. Everybody who thinks they're so fucking confident about that search happening when Karen Reed said, "Hey, search this," or allegedly said, "Search for how long to die in the cold," nobody will go on record. And let's also keep in mind, folks, we heard that 911 call. We heard it. We heard after she hung up with 911. Now, what took place before or after? Most likely after. We don't know. There's not a recording of it. But I mean, if everything that we're hearing on that recording does not, nothing in that recording sounds consistent with her asking that question to Jen McCabe and telling her to Google this. I call bullshit on Jen McCabe. I think Jen McCabe is a fucking liar. I absolutely 100% think my opinion is that Jen McCabe is a fucking liar. That 911 call was the shady, that, or at least that recording was shady as fuck. People, absolutely shady. I mean, the only person to show any emotion in that situation, the only person to show any emotion and to show any sense of urgency to save his life was Karen Reed. She was the only person in that recording to show any emotion and any sense of urgency to save his life. I'm not seeing any blankets. Well, knock on the fucking door to your sister's house and tell her there's a fucking cop laying in the snow and we need to warm him up. Knock on her door and ask her for blankets. Give me every fucking blanket off your bed. Give me everything you got in the closet. Give me anything you got. We need to save this man's life. None of this happened. Totally, Cherry.
That's unbelievable. That is such an important part of this case, and the experts are not going to agree at trial, because I'm sure both sides will have experts that won't agree, but it seems like there's no real consensus in the business as to what it means. Unreal. Ted Daniel, so happy you could be on the show tonight. I hope we'll speak again as the trial gets closer. Boston 25. If you don't live in Boston, go online and check out the stories. Amazing, amazing work. Thanks so much, Ted.
Thanks, Benny. Good to join you.
I mean, I love that. This is a very subtle. This is this little subtle. I mean, they're staying neutral, like Vinny's staying neutral here, but it's very subtle little fuck you to Jennifer Coffindaffer. Now, here's the thing: is I don't know. Jennifer Coffindaffer blocked me, so I can't. But I'm going to go over some of Turtle Boy's most recent tweets, because they're valuable. And Turtle Boy states here, 6 hours ago, I did a public records request with the town of Canton that they have finished. I sent them the check on Monday, but of course they didn't receive it. I could send another one, but I would just delay the process. But it would just delay the process. If any Turtle Rider would like to do me a favor and go to the clerk's office in Town Hall, give them $62.50 on my behalf, I can send you the money electronically. Of course, Town Hall can't process credit cards and is still in the 19th century. I just really want to see these 380 emails they found that can't drive to Canton today. DM me if interested. The clerk will be back from lunch at 2, so don't go before then. So this is good. And again, this is the people of Canton, people. This is the people of Canton stepping up and doing what they need to do. And I want to look into this. I'm probably going to do a different stream about this. But this is a separate case. I still need to look into it. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to go ahead and play this real quick. Because if Turtle Boy's talking about it, I'm pretty sure it's he's leading to some sort of connection. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this and get a general idea of what's going on here.
Assault with a dangerous weapon. 2 counts of manslaughter. Leaving the scene of an accident after causing personal injury and death. 2 counts of leaving the scene of an accident after causing property damage. 2 counts of assault with a dangerous weapon. A marked lanes violation and and unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle.
Mr. Simon, the court enters a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Court appoints a committee for public counsel services to represent you. You're responsible for the $150 legal fee. Does not need to be paid today. You should make efforts to pay it by the next court date. Commonwealth.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, at the outset, Commonwealth is going to move to amend the citation issued by the Massachusetts State Police to reflect the date and time of the offense to be December 6th, approximately 4:15 p.m.
Good morning, Your Honor. Arthur Bailey for Mr. Simon. Defense does not object to that.
Motion to amend is allowed without objection.
Now, if I had to guess what Turtle Boy's motive here is to blast this story, if I had to guess initially before looking into it and anything else, just keep that in mind. I'm going to guess that this is just to maintain pressure on the lead investigators here to make sure that these police officers get justice. And the same thing that happened to John O'Keefe does not happen to this police officer who lost his life.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just there for the Commonwealth. On the issue of bail, the Commonwealth has filed a motion.
Oh, so no murder charges. Wait, so this dude, what? So he hasn't been charged with murder?
Probable cause to believe that the defendant has committed a qualifying offense, and no conditions of pretrial release would assure the safety of the community.
I'll hear you, Mr. Probable cause.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, December 6, 2023, this being yesterday at approximately 4:15 p.m., the Waltham Police responded to the area.
And those of you who believe that Karen Reed is guilty and you're you're allowed to have your opinions in here, but you're subject to whatever response that other people tend to whatever they say in response to your loud comments. That's on you. Take that risk yourself. Take that risk yourself. So just saying, I'm sure the people in my chat, as well as Cherry, they like their playmates. So speak up, have your fun.
The area of Top Pond Road on a report of a motor vehicle crash involving 4 vehicles and with 2 critically injured persons. Those injured persons included Waltham Police Officer Paul Tracy and National Grid worker Roderick Jackson. Your Honor, this investigation revealed that the defendant was operating an older Ford F-150 traveling eastbound on Top Pond Road. As he was traveling eastbound, this defendant veered his vehicle to the right and then suddenly to the left in an apparent attempt to make a U-turn. In so doing, he positioned his car directly in front of the vehicle traveling behind him, a Jeep Wrangler, which caused the Jeep to collide with the driver's side of his vehicle, causing the defendant's vehicle to rise up off of 2 wheels and then slam back down. That having occurred, the defendant abandoned his attempt to make a U-turn and continued eastbound on Top Pond Road in an apparent attempt to flee the scene of that crash. Video from the area reveals that ahead of the defendant on Top Pond Road, you can see a work site being conducted by National Grid. That work site was fixed with orange cones, orange signs, and yellow flashing lights to alert drivers of the site. The defendant continued.
Oh, now the sound gets better.
The work site. And in fact, when he came upon the site, veered between what appeared to be a National Grid truck and a backhoe, and in between those 2 vehicles was a friend.
Y'all in chat are killing me right now.
Officer Paul Tracy was standing in that vicinity directing traffic, as well as those National Grid worker, Mr. Roderick Jackson.
Y'all are killing me right now.
Into that direction, striking both Officer Tracy and Mr. Jackson. After doing that, crashing into the vehicles on scene, including the National Grid truck, this defendant exited his vehicle and fled.
Who's that?
His home, where he began banging on the door. As that was occurring, a Waltham police officer arrived at that scene and ordered the defendant to submit. The defendant turned on the officer, brandishing a knife, and with that knife entered the officer's cruiser.
I'm getting to that, Peter A. I thought it was, but it's not in where I thought it was going to be. But
officers were responding, attempted to
I'm
stop
going to look for it
several times
because I'm pretty sure Turtle Boy posted it.
his car into the oncoming officers. He made several turns throughout Waltham, ultimately crashing the vehicle where he was subsequently apprehended. Both Officer Tracy and Mr. Jackson were transported to local hospitals where they succumbed to their injuries and were declared deceased, Your Honor. Based on these facts, Your Honor, the Commonwealth believes that there are no conditions of pretrial release that could assure the safety of the community, and I'm asking the court to detain the defendant pending trial pursuant to 276, Section 58.
No, Your Honor, we would agree that there is probable cause. We reserve our rights to a 58A hearing. I will inform the court that we are going to make an internal transfer to Linda Donis in our law office. So she will be handling the case during the pendency of this case. She indicated that she's available on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday to address 58A.
Both parties are requesting a continuance.
Yes, Your Honor.
No objection to good cause.
No, Your Honor.
Court finds probable cause for a qualifying offense and that good cause exists to not conduct a 58A hearing on the date of the defendant's initial appearance. Madam Clerk, on Wednesday or Thursday. Let's do Thursday, the 14th, please.
Is that the 9 a.m.?
Yes, it will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
After hearing on Commonwealth's motion for pretrial detention pursuant to Chapter 276, Section 58A on the basis of dangerousness, that motion is probable cause has been found, and the court finds good cause exists to hold the defendant pending a full hearing on December 14th. Commonwealth's oral motion to amend the citation issued by the state police to the date of offense being December 6th at the time of 4:15 p.m. That motion is allowed.
Thank you, Your Honor. All rise.
All right, I'm going to follow that, see what happens. Give me a second. Let me look more into Turtle Boy's posts here. I can't find the footage. Let me see if maybe it's in his blog. I don't think there is footage of that. I think that they are that they cut out Coffindaffer's yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and read Turtle Boy's article on this real quick. So it says here, last night, Court TV did a full hour segment on the Karen Reed case. And now what we watched was only 18 minutes. And there was an 8-minute, there was also an 8-minute segment prior to that I played. But the hour-long segment is not available. So I'm sorry about that. Now, the best thing that I could do, the next best thing that I could do is read Turtle Boy's assessment of it, which I'll do here. It says here, last night, Court TV did a full hour segment on the Karen Reed case in light of the new developments of that Michael Morrissey asked the U.S. Attorney's Office to stop investigating his office's handling of the Karen Reed case. Host Vinnie Politan invited on Boston 25 News reporter Ted Daniel, Boston defense attorney Peter Elkin, I don't know how to say his name, and disgraced former FBI agent turned Twitter boomer mouthpiece for the Commonwealth, Jennifer Coffindaffer. Overall, it was very positive for Karen Reed. Ted's tall ceilings at his house caused some acoustic issues. That's funny. But he did a good job explaining the new developments. Both Daniel and Politan credited Turtle Riders protesting outside the courthouse for being informed and galvanizing support from incredibly passionate people. Real quick, hold on. Got to give those people, yeah. Absolutely. Goes on to say, Court TV also aired some of my greatest hits from the July 25th protest, including a rant about the close relationship between Michael Proctor and Chris Albert's family. Good job. I wish you guys would have posted that on YouTube, but the Boston defense attorney came prepared and did an excellent job pointing out key elements of the case, including the 227 Google search, the dog bites, Colin Albert's history with John O'Keefe, Michael Proctor's close relationship with the McAlberts, and Lucky Lauren seeing a forward edge but not seeing a body. Then it was Coffindaffer's turn. Then it was Coffindaffer's turn. A lot of people object to her being invited on Court TV, especially after a public records request led to the discovery of emails showing that she was being used by the Commonwealth to spread. Oh, wait, hold on. We might have something here. To spread their lies on social media. However, I'm glad she was on because her stupidity. Because her stupidity and lack of facts, when juxtaposed next to the factual statements made by Elkin, Daniel, and Politan, exposed just how devoid of facts the McAlbert propagandists are. She didn't address Loughran or the relationship between the Proctors and the Alberts because those are indefensible positions. Let's review some of the dumbest things she said. Okay, here we go, folks. You're going to love this.
In John O'Keefe's clothing, and John O'Keefe's hair was on the taillight parts of the vehicle.
What?
Secondly, in John O'Keefe's clothing, and John O'Keefe's hair was on the taillight parts of the vehicle.
What?
Secondly,
okay, that's all it has. So, yeah, what? Turtle Boy goes on to say, it's like she can't keep her lies straight. I think she was trying to say that the hair found on the quarter panel was O'Keefe's hair, which is untrue because that hair was tested and came back to be non-human hair. The Commonwealth didn't like that result, so they want the hair tested again and destroyed. But to be clear, none of O'Keefe's hair was found on the taillight, nor would it make any sense if it was. Hold on, we got another clip here. It's about 16 seconds long.
The O'Keefes like the Alberts. In fact, they were at the pizza shop recently. They are in support of Karen Reed's guilt, not of all of these individuals that were in the house and this massive conspiracy.
Yeah, but there's nothing to base Karen Reed's guilt on, you idiot. Like, that's the whole problem. That's the whole fucking problem. Okay. Cherry came through. I knew she would. All right. Is there a timestamp for it? Okay, so this is Unsafe Spaces. And I just want to get right to the Jennifer Coffindaffer bullshit. Give me 1 second here. Hold on. Let's just watch what we hadn't seen yet. So this is Unsafe Spaces. Here, thanks to Unsafe Spaces. Real quick, I'm going to drop the link to this video. Make sure to just sneak on over there and give it a like. So the link to the video that I'm about to stream right now is in the chat. So please give it a like and subscribe to Unsafe Spaces. Appreciate it. Now let me
Myth and Super Predators. Peter Elkin is with us. Peter, great to see you. Been a while.
Yeah, it's boy, the rest of us age, and you're just the fountain of youth.
How about that, right? All right. So let me ask you about this federal investigation of the investigation. What does this do to the murder trial? So Karen Reed is supposed to be tried early next year. I think March is the trial date. There's an apparent federal probe, they're calling it, like a federal grand jury's been called and subpoenaing witnesses looking at the investigators. What does this mean, and do the two sides communicate?
Well, first of all, this is very unusual. I mean, a lot of people have complaints about police departments, or they complain about a police officer, et cetera, and they do not get federal investigations done on them, major investigations. And the fact that there's also a grand jury meeting, and we know the subpoenas have gone out. For example, the brother of one of the people in the house, Colin Albert, was we confirmed that he was subpoenaed and brought to the grand jury. And this is not business as usual. They looking into whether there's police corruption or not. And the fact that they really did call a grand jury, there's something they're looking at. There's something there. It's not just, hey, who knows? Let's just take a look at it because somebody made a complaint. They usually, and the fact of the matter too is that the FBI and the feds really have access to geofence material. They will look at all the various technical documentation through the phones, et cetera, that we really haven't heard the results of, and that we've heard some conflicting reports. They will get to the bottom of it. And at the end of this investigation, if they really did find, and I'm not, who knows what they're going to come up with, but if they did find that there was really a problem with a huge conflict of interest, or there was some kind of conspiracy going on, this would absolutely blow this thing wide open. I don't know, it could possibly end the prosecution, or it would certainly delay it. And the prosecution could be sent somewhere else. I mean, I'm kind of fantasizing about all the different directions this could take, but it really would be explosive. I am not so sure that this trial date of March is going to happen.
Okay, let's bring in our second guest in Jacksonville, Florida, retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindaffer. Jennifer, great to see you tonight.
There's the bitch.
We're talking about the feds. You're a former Fed, right? So the feds are investigating the investigators here. What do you think this investigation is going to entail? And will the results of this investigation ever be made public, one way or the other?
Well, hi, Vinny. This is so blown out of proportion. To really understand this investigation, this grand jury investigation, we have to look at how was it began and why. And who began this was Rachel Rollins, a former United States attorney who is not the U.S. attorney now because of an investigation they had on her. In fact, 2 separate investigations.
Wait. Okay. So the investigators who are investigating the investigation got investigated. Is Whitey Bulger still in charge up there? What's going on?
You look at the impetus. In other words, you have to predicate a grand jury investigation. You have to predicate any investigation done by the FBI. So the FBI and working public corruption, which is what I worked, you have to have an investigation predicated. Well, in this case was referred by Rachel Rollins.
Okay, stop. That is very unsettling. Let me hear that one more fucking time, because the truth is I can't believe my fucking ears. She just fucking said that. Is that fucking true? Is that true? Because I'm like, what?
Have to predicate any investigation done by the FBI. So the FBI and working public corruption, which is what I worked.
Wow.
You have to have an investigation predicated.
That's incredibly unsettling. That is incredibly unsettling.
In this case was referred by Rachel Rollins. She later then resigned amid all sorts of issues, but this investigation was underway, specifically against the district attorney, okay? So one of the investigations that has really been looked at hard is the Karen Reed investigation. What does that mean? It means that they had witnesses come forward and present evidence at the grand jury regarding how they were treated, what was said, is there corruption, what's going on. So all those people that were put before the grand jury, they weren't targets, they were simply witnesses. There have been no target letters go out. Furthermore, just because there's a grand jury does not mean there will be a true bill or a no bill. Basically, that prosecutor that is in charge of overseeing that evidence that's going before that grand jury, they're the person that makes the decision on whether to even query the grand jury for such. So an investigation can go through and not have a conclusion per se. It can end with a letter of declination going forward, but that is somewhat rare.
That's a crock of shit. Literally everybody but her that came up there straight up said that this is totally unusual. And she's acting like it's just another day. She's acting like it's just another fucking Tuesday when the FBI looks into an investigation. I mean, no, everyone is saying how unusual it is. Every expert except for her has come on this panel here that we're looking at saying that it's totally and highly unusual. The fuck is she talking about?
So let me ask you, Peter, do you think Alan Jackson and the defense will try to get information from this investigation to use and during the trial of their client? Because they're seemingly related. So if the FBI is investigating stuff, it would seem to be relevant to the case against Karen Reed, right? Because they're investigating the investigators. So is Alan Jackson going to have access to this information, do you think?
No, I don't necessarily think so. While the investigation is going on, while the grand jury is meeting, things may possibly
actually
leak
a
out,
great question.
But they can really keep their cards close to their chest. So they're not just going to, while they're doing the grand jury and bringing in people to testify, that they're necessarily then going to be making public pronouncements. And this is what we found out today. And this is what we're going to, this is what we found out.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. Right. That's a totally separate investigation. And Karen Reed's defense is not going to know any better than the rest of us are unless there's a leak that, or at least the updates, I'm having a brain fart as far as the word I'm looking for here, but as far as the the progress that's being made in that investigation and any developments that are being made in that investigation are not going to be made public. And there's no reason why Karen Read's attorneys would have any access to any of that information, again, unless there is a leak.
Found out during the past week. So I think it could all be very quiet. We may never find out the results. That's right. You can take a grand jury in any direction. This could blow up into some major explosive information down the line, or it may nothing may come of it. Like I said, they probably would not call a grand jury unless there really were specific things they were looking at. And we're just, but while that's going on, I don't know that the defense is going to have that information. I'm sure they would love the information, and perhaps in the long run, if the trial gets delayed and the feds do then come out and make some pronouncements, then it could be very helpful to the defense.
This is bizarre. This is really bizarre. Our guests are staying with us, Peter Ellikin and Jennifer Coffindaffer.
No, I got you, girl.
Back, we're going to take a closer look at who the defense is pointing the finger at and whether or not this is going to be a viable alternative for this jury to believe that it wasn't Karen Read, it was someone else in the house.
Here's the thing is, like, certain members of that family would like to be involved in a live show with us, and certain members of the family have stay away orders from him, and it just becomes a whole thing. Go ahead, back to it.
Complain that they don't know Michael Proctor conflicted. State Trooper Michael Proctor.
Now, before I continue, and there's real quick. We got to give real quick Turtle Boy his props here. Here we go. Now, before I continue, I want to say I recently put Turtle Boy in touch with a friend of mine. I don't know what's going to come of it. This friend of mine is going to do whatever she does. I have no control over what she decides to cover, what she decides to talk about, but I did put them in touch with each other, and I'm really hoping that she ends up doing a segment with Turtle Boy at some point. We can only hope, but I don't want to name names until, it's a thing. So, but in doing so, I communicated with Turtle Boy, and soon, hopefully soon, I will have him back on this channel, and we'll do another stream together. So just keep your eyes peeled for that, folks. Use your eyes.
Well wishes and their condolences for Michael Proctor's grandmother, who died in 2009. She's 2023 right now. That is at least a 14-year close relationship. They know each other so well that Courtney Proctor Elbert, at her wedding in 2012, had a wedding party. And of course, also in that picture was two other, one young boy and one
Gregor.
young man. Young man's name was Michael Proctor. All the way to the left in that photo, because of course it's his sister's wedding. But the ring bearer in that wedding was a 7-year-old innocent boy named Colin Albert.
Oof. Ooh. I don't even need the boo sound effect.
Outside the courthouse, and all of his followers, turtle riders, whatever they are, protesting this. And
Turtle
he's
riders,
pointing the
yes.
finger, as the defense is, at this young man named Colin Albert. Now, I want you to take a listen now to Michael Morrissey, the Norfolk County District Attorney, and then Alan Jackson, the defense attorney, talking about this issue involving Colin Albert, because that's who we believe the defense will point the finger at during the course of this trial. Let's listen.
Testimony from witnesses tell us that 18-year-old Colin Albert had left his uncle's home before John O'Keefe and Karen Read had arrived outside the residence. There was no fight inside that home. John O'Keefe did not enter the home. Colin Albert, the young man being vilified, was not present when Reed's vehicle and John O'Keefe arrived on the street. This is a false narrative.
Wait, let's hear that one more time.
Colin Albert didn't come. This was vilified, went into the home. No fight inside that home. John O'Keefe did not enter the home. Colin Albert, the young man being vilified, was not present when Reed's vehicle and John O'Keefe arrived on the street. This is a false narrative.
Bullshit.
Colin Albert didn't commit murder. Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Albert. These people were not part of a conspiracy and certainly did not commit murder or any crime that night.
I love that for Morrissey. I love that for him, dude, that he had the balls to like make this public statement that he pre-wrote, by the way. Like he clearly is reading a statement that he pre-wrote, or some fucking, paralegal fucking wrote it for him. Who knows? But it's full of disprovable bullshit. It's so full of bull. Like you could absolutely disprove everything that he's fucking said, and has been disproven by Turtle Boy directly.
Not a single witness originally admitted that Colin Albert was ever in that house. Not one.
Colin was there. Colin was there.
The next thing that you should note, Mr. Morrissey should probably note, is that the Commonwealth is damn well aware that Jennifer McCabe scrubbed her cell phone of nearly every communication with the Alberts on the night and the morning that John was killed. And she intentionally deleted that now famous, infamous 2:27 a.m. Google search of how long it takes to die in the cold.
Jerry's on fire tonight, y'all.
Peter, your thoughts about this defense theory? And it's very specific. Defense sometimes kind of vague, can't prove it. There's doubt, could have been this. No, they're going in a certain place with a certain story that they're going to tell this jury. What do you think?
Well, yeah, they are, but they really have not narrowed it down and specifically said who they think the murderer is. And I know they mentioned this Colin Albert, who they believe was in the house. And they said there's no hard data showing that he had left earlier, just some friend.
Now, I got to say, y'all, real quick, I am still not dismissing my working theory on Matt McCabe. Okay? I still say he has motive. I'm not saying he did it. And I trust Turtle Boy's investigations over any conclusions that I come up with, but I'm still not ready to dismiss old Matt McCabe as a suspect here. Just saying.
Friend's screenshot or something, but they know that was an incredible amount of bad blood between Colin Albert and the victim. And that's very well documented. Even all kinds of social media, calling them names, attacking, insults, etc. That's gone on for a long time. But they just the defense, though, at this point is just saying something happened in there and he was killed. And I think we've gone. I don't know if you need me to go through the whole laundry list of stuff, but they say, for example, the injuries are clearly not being backed in by Alexis. The 2 black eyes, broken nose. The defense wounds on the hands, the idea that the arm, it clearly was a dog biting and scratching and all that. And there's nothing on Alexis that would cause something to look like dog bites, scratches.
Okay, now, Rights On. I've played with that theory too. I have messed around with that theory too, but it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't see Matt McCabe being active in that lifestyle and being very successful. I just don't see that, dude. You know what I mean?
And bites, etc.
Thank you.
One of the great, the defense keeps bringing up what they refer to, what they would look at as smoking guns. They had a snowplow operator who drove by at 2:30 in the morning and saw.
I totally think that Matt McCabe This is so immature of me. I totally think that Matt McCabe is a fucking cuck. I don't know if he's like a willing cuck. But yeah, he comes off as a fucking cuck, dude. Straight up. Like if you like Google what a fucking cuckold is, I'm like, yeah, I think he's maybe not a willing cuckold, but a cuckold nonetheless. Just saying. Just saying. He comes off that way. That's all.
Nobody there specifically was there. And then when he went back even a little bit later, he said that there was a car, there was a, I think it was a Ford Edge there in the exact place where the victim would be. They have, they obviously what they consider the smoking gun, the Google search at 2:30 in the morning. How long does it take somebody to die in the cold? They have the data, the Apple data showing that the victim there, John O'Keefe, was actually in the house on different floors, walking around. So they bring all this up and they add it all up and say that he was.
Oh, come on, Rassler's mom. She was voted best looking in high school. What are you talking about? She was voted best looking in high school. How are you not following this? How are you not following this? Come on. All right, let's go.
He was obviously with the injuries on him that he was killed in the house. Somebody did it, but they really haven't specifically said anybody. I mean, we do know Colin did have, a great deal of bad blood. That's very documented, but nobody's saying specifically him, just somebody in that house.
Jennifer?
And there really seems to be what they would think of, at least what they're portraying, is a mountain of evidence.
So Jennifer, what's your take on this defense evidence, this defense theory versus the prosecution theory?
Well, let's go through each of those if I can. That was a good recitation of what the defense is going to say, but unfortunately, it's not backed with any facts. Let's talk about the dog bites.
What?
There's no dog bites there. You can't see a second set of teeth. They're not scratches, and it's really not my opinion. It's the opinion of two medical examiners. So unless they are on the take, all these individuals looking at this picture, which was leaked, by the way, and somehow becoming medical professionals,
shut up.
never having examined it, saying that this is from a dog is just unfounded. The tail.
Bro, lady, let's get real. That's not even the right picture to show, because you could totally see on the other side of his elbow in the other picture, you could totally see a second pair of teeth. Absolutely. Right on the fucking elbow.
Tail light. There were tail light particles in John O'Keefe's clothing, and John O'Keefe's hair was on the tail light parts of the vehicle. Secondly, all of those tail light fragments were at the scene. They weren't at this scene with this minor bump, and you can see as she pulls away, the tail light is well intact. So all of that is not going to hold water. In terms of that Google search, we've been over that. You're right. Both.
Here's the thing, though, stupid. This is what this fucking genius who has testified in God knows how many cases as an FBI expert is missing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In a court of law, the defense isn't going to have to prove that. It's not on them to prove anything. All that has to do is create doubt in one juror. Little miss, I've testified in God knows how many cases as an FBI expert. All you have to do is present that and create doubt in the mind of one juror. You are never, ever, ever, Morrissey is never, ever, ever going to get 12 jurors to convict Karen Reed. There is way too much doubt. Way too much doubt. Now, again, unless there's absolutely a smoking gun that we're not aware of that the prosecution has, but I don't see that happening. the likelihood of that is just, you know, null and void, man. Like, there's no likelihood of that.
Experts will argue, and that safari was simply opened at that timestamp of 227. And so
what's up, making
somehow
law
that's
simple?
being attributed. It wasn't the proper time. It was the time that occurred later. In terms of this poor kid, Colin Albert, at the time, he was 17 years old. He wasn't even there. And they are going to have not only
He was
text
totally
message proof of
there.
that, but they're also going to have witness proof. The individual who picked him up, the individual who drove him home, and his parents. So there is plenty of evidence that he was never even there when the drop-off occurred. So at least to hit on a few of those highlights, they are just unfounded. Oh, and there was no bad blood. This supposed bad blood occurred when, after a party, some kids dropped some beer bottles in John O'Keefe's yard. Okay, I mean, that's very minuscule, but on the Ring camera, it wasn't even Colin Albert. Furthermore,
Yeah, but what you're forgetting is the fact that fucking he was a dickhead about it. That's where the bad blood comes in. Stupid. Is Colin Albert was a little shit about it, supposedly. That's the argument. Not the beer bottles, is that he was a dick about it.
the O'Keefes like the Alberts. In fact, they were at the pizza shop recently. They are in support of Karen Reed's guilt, not of all of these individuals that were in the house and this massive conspiracy that would involve multiple agencies, all to frame the girlfriend.
So, Peter, as we get ready for a trial on this, right? You've got two competing theories, but the big difference is prosecutors, like I was, we have that burden beyond a reasonable doubt. So the Karen Reed theory's got to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, whereas the defense, if they put on evidence or make arguments, really just have to convince a jury that it's a reasonable alternative. So with that discrepancy in the proof, what are your thoughts here? We have about a minute for each.
I'd love to know your thoughts on this,
All right.
Jennifer.
I think you hit it right on the head. I don't see how they get this beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
I think they really rushed to judgment
Right.
and immediately fingered her and charged her, and they didn't really give a full
Don't do it, Cherry.
look into the case and what was happening with it. And the fact that it went, we haven't even mentioned the idea that it went to the investigation is run by a state trooper who was a very good friend of the family. And there's tons of documentation. That state trooper's mother even had a Facebook message saying that the Alberts were a second family. Now, why he wouldn't have even mentioned that before the investigation began and didn't tell people that there would be a conflict.
Not only did he not mention it, kind sir, with all due respect, because he's actually spitting some facts here. Not only did he not mention it, he fucking lied about it in a public statement. He lied. Morrissey fucking lied and said that the McAlberts and the Proctors had no connection, that they did not know each other.
There. But with, as I said, with all these pieces of what I would refer to, I'm sorry to use a cliche, a mountain of evidence here,
Jerry.
I don't see how they get past beyond.
Y'all see what I deal with? I told Cherry, I said, don't fucking do it, Cherry. Don't do it. And then sure enough, this is the story of my life. This is the story of my life. Constantly with Cherry, this is me. Constantly.
A reasonable doubt. There was just a rush to judgment and really shoddy police work here. And it's not some crazy vast conspiracy, really. It is.
I only have about 10 seconds left. I got to give Jennifer just a quick response, and then
Fair
we're done.
enough.
10 seconds.
I got to give.
Okay, really quick. Who had the motive in this?
I got about 10 seconds left, and I got to give Jennifer a shovel to keep digging her grave here.
Karen Reed. They have her on tape screaming hateful thoughts right before this happened.
Wait, what? No. No. That's a fucking lie, because we went over that tape. Everybody remember that? We went over that tape. No. Hateful thoughts, nothing. Hateful thoughts, my ass. This was her screaming for help to save his life. That's all she was. It was the opposite of hateful thoughts. What the shit are you talking about, lady? Dude, what fucking cereal box did you get your fucking FBI certification from? I don't understand what is fucking Court TV and News Nation doing, putting you on panel as any kind of expert of anything? You can't even seem to fucking generate the electricity in your brain to move your legs. I don't get it. You have no brain. You were a fucking moron, Jennifer Coffindaffer. Jesus Christ.
In addition, she was the one that last saw him there and that then took the girls to find him at that location. You're going to have motive. You're going to have the parts of the taillight, and it's going to be clear that she hit him from the evidence from her vehicle.
Thank you both so much. This is some case. Peter Hellican, Jennifer Coffindaffer. We'll see you again really, really soon. All right, folks. When we come back, I'm going to reveal something else you need to know tonight. Plus, coming up next hour.
In Jonesboro, Georgia, day one of a brand new case on Court TV, the car crash vigilante murder trial.
And again, I'm going to
Hannah
drop
Payne accused of murder.
I'm going to
All
drop,
right, guys. So that's Court TV. That's Coffindaffer.
I'm going to drop these guys' video here in the chat. Make sure to give it a like. Make sure to subscribe. I mean, Vinny's guests to me have been questionable in the past, if I'm being totally honest. Like, the dude had JLR up there. Now, he was nice to JLR. I mean, I can't blame him for being professional towards JLR when the whole harassment of the Murdoch family thing came up. I honestly, I can't. He's just trying to be professional, but it's just like, why would you even give that dude a fucking mic, for fuck's sake? Like, that's a bad look on you, Vinny. Don't do that. But yeah, like, everything this woman says is just bullshit. Like, and she just says things like they're facts. She says these things as though they're fact. And expect people to just be like, oh, well, Jennifer Coffindaffer said it, so I guess it must be true. No, dude, it's very simple here, folks. It's very simple. It's very simple. Here again, folks, and I'm gonna pin it. This is all you need, thanks to Sleuthy Goosey. Okay, this is all you need. This is the spreadsheet that has all of the information that you need to make your own judgment. That's it. It's right there. Here, let me go ahead and pin that. Here we go. Click on that. Look at all of the facts, which are witness statements, court documents, everything you need. Everything you need. That's all you got to do. Do your own homework. Do your own research. Yes, do your own research. That's all you got to do. Little reading. That's all. A little reading. That's it. Now, I don't know. Is Turtle Boy going live tonight? I know he normally does Tuesdays and Saturdays. But I saw somebody in chat say something about him going live tonight. So if he does go live tonight, make sure to catch him. I don't know if he actually is or not, but make sure to catch him. But yeah, I'm really hoping that Turtle Boy ends up getting to speak with this person that I put him in contact with, because it will get a lot more traction. Most definitely, it should get a lot more traction and more attention on this case, and that's what this case needs, is more attention. And I gotta tip my hat to Court TV and Vinnie Politan for giving these people, these experts on his panel, even even Coffindaffer, a mic to speak up and give their perspectives on how this case is being handled and why the feds are looking into it. And yes, even Coffindaffer, because she just ended up looking stupid, clearly. And yeah, that's it. So I don't know, Cherry. But I don't know if, how he has members or what, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. That has nothing to do with me. Oh, it's not yeah, Patty Murphy is clearing that up. It's not, yeah, it's through his own website. It's not through YouTube. So, okay. So it's not a YouTube thing. I think it's another thing that he's going live on. So, and if I want a link to that, Cherry, if you could find that quickly, I would really appreciate it. That way, those who are not members and are interested in what Turtle Boy has to say in regards to that, I'd like to be able to go ahead and share that in the chat. Yeah, for those paid members, right. If Cherry can grab a link for that and share it in chat, that would be really helpful. But yeah, man. People, things are definitely in motion. Things are definitely in motion as far as creating awareness. Because right now, the pendulum is definitely leaning on the side of justice for John O'Keefe and support for Karen Reed's innocence locally in Massachusetts. But the traction is picking up nationwide. So if you are fact driven, if you've done your homework, if you know all the facts, share this stuff to your social media. Make sure to, I mean, because it's not just me who can do this. It's not just Turtle Boy that can do this. It's not just the other channels, the many other channels on YouTube that are trying to create awareness here, but it's actually you guys that are the most important. You guys who have your social media profiles, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, whatever, make sure to share these things, not just inside the group, but outside the group too. Make people aware. Talk about it with your coworkers. Thank you, Cherry. I'm going to go ahead and pin that now. So the Turtle Boy members link is pinned in the chat. So if you're not a member for Turtle Boy, make sure to become a member. And there's Sleuthy. Sorry, Sleuthy, but we're wrapping this up now. You're a little late. But you can catch the replay. This isn't as long as the normal ones that I do. I got a little baby puppy to attend to, and I got to take him out and walk him and everything. And I'm looking forward to just relaxing for the rest of the night. But I love hanging out with you guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all your support. I love you guys very much. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, make sure to subscribe to all of the channels that I shared tonight. make sure to subscribe to all of those channels. Make sure to subscribe to Turtle Boy's membership if you can. And keep your ear to the grindstone, folks, because there's going to be more stuff that is going to come to light. Oh man, thank you, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that. You guys are amazing. And yeah, man, the way it's looking, I'm getting more and more on fire for this case. So hopefully I'll be heading to Boston for the or heading to Canton, and more specifically for the Karen Reed trial. So I'm going to be looking forward to that if I can. No promises, but I'm going to do the very best I can. But I am going to wrap this up, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.